Did you guys hear about Drake? He shows up at this Raptors game. He pulls out this lint roller. He's doing it on his leg. Someone sees him. They catch it on camera. It goes viral. And what happens at the next Raptors game? They give out thousands of these, branded as Drake, and every time the Raptors score, it's like, hey, 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 hey. I just had to say that, guys. It's awesome marketing. Take that for what it's worth. Apply it to your Amazon store. I have no idea how you will, but I hope you like that. Guys, I'm excited because the commercial invoice is a big part, not just of getting your goods into the US to sell on Amazon or your e-commerce platforms, but it also allows you to defend yourself when someone comes after your products and says, hey, that product is not authentic. Hey, Amazon, take them down. And you know it's a competitor. So the first thing I'm gonna give you is super classic and super important, and I'm surprised how many people don't know about this, but I actually learned this from working with sourcing agents. Before you pay that final payment to your supplier, require them to send you the commercial invoice in English. Now, if it's a Chinese supplier and English is not their native tongue, that's fine. You can still have them send it to you and get someone to translate it over into an Excel sheet. It really is simple. It's not complicated, but require it. And if you require it, they will send it to you, I promise, because they want their money. And then when someone complains about your listing and says it's not valid, what is Amazon gonna ask you? What is your commercial invoice? And you don't have to go create some bogus invoice. You don't have to go buy from an American supplier to say, this is my invoice, and make sure that the numbers match up. We've all been there, we know that. Just get it directly from the supplier. Now, if they can't send you a commercial invoice, I can almost guarantee you you're working with a trading company or someone really, really shady. Now, trading company doesn't mean shady, but just keep that in mind. Today is exciting because I'm gonna give you 18 line items that go on this commercial invoice. Now, a lot of commercial invoices look different. This is a very simple, basic one. I just printed this up just so you can have an idea of what it looks like. It is not insanely complicated. There's just a lot of detail. And once you understand the basics, it really is simple. The cool part is you don't even have to be the person who fills it out. Actually, your exporter is gonna do that for you. Seth, who is the exporter? It is the supplier who's managing the shipping. Now, the supplier themselves don't really ship it, but they're responsible, especially if you're doing what's called delivered duty paid, DDP, which means they're gonna ship it from China all the way to Amazon's fulfillment center for you, and you don't have to do a thing. Now, some people do EXW and all these different options. I so much prefer DDP because it means those products get there without me having to do anything. In fact, the customs agents is built in. They will take care of all that complicated paperwork related to the commercial invoice. All you have to do is pay the tariff. But I know it's okay. If you watch my last video, if you're a student of Just One Dime, you already know how to do this. You know how to calculate your costs and profits. You're equipped to make money, but that's for Just One Dime students only. Item number one is going to be seller. So you're gonna see it right here, seller on the commercial invoice. Now again, you don't have to fill it out, but I want you to be able to read it so that you understand what you're talking about. Because there's a few things on here that the exporter might put on there and you might say, don't do that. I need you to change this, especially when it comes to the commercial value, which I'll speak to in a minute. That way you don't get in trouble with the federal US government law. Item number one is the seller. It's simply the exporter. It's the supplier who's shipping it out. It's gonna have their name and their address. That's it. Also called the exporter. By the way, make sure they have an exporter license. You can even ask for it. Hey, just by the way, before you ship it, please send me the exporter license. Now again, if the supplier's working with the freight forwarder should be able to give them the export license and they can send it to you. Line item number two, sold to. That's you, the buyer. That's me, the buyer. So if you're receiving those goods, it's coming to you. Let's say, it's a bunch of lint rollers. If those goods are coming to you, you are the sold to person because you're buying it, it's going to your address. Now there's a little twist here because line item number three is ship to. Now ship to could be where they are shipping it not to you directly, but to a third party like an intermediary. So that's the shipping address. Then that person or entity or company, which is, by the way, is usually a freight forwarder, they're responsible to get it to your final destination. So just keep in mind that's when the two are different. But if they're shipping it directly to you or to Amazon's fulfillment center, then sold to and shipped to, sold to is going to be you and shipped to will be Amazon's fulfillment center. One of the tiniest items on the entire commercial invoice is gonna be Guys, can I get a full screen on this really quick? Commercial invoice number, it's just a few little digits. It's really important because your supplier will give you that number based on their records. They have this system that automatically generates numbers. Well, that number is prized by Amazon. They love this number. They need that number. If they don't have that number when they ask for a commercial invoice, you're gonna be in trouble. So just make sure that number is on there. Line item number 5, customer reference number. All it is it's a number that the supplier identifies you by. So you are a number in your system, kind of like a clone in Star Wars, if for lack of a better illustration. But you're a number, and that number does matter to them for their records. It's not a big deal. The customs people don't care about it. The sellers don't care about it. It's just for the supplier themselves. Line item number 6 is terms of sale. All it means is the term on the delivery and the sale agreement. Now, where it gets in more detail is line item number 7, and that's terms of payment. For example, if you're paying 30% up front, then the remaining 70%, that would be part of your terms of sale. Now, sometimes they're gonna do what's called letter of credit. So you don't have the money, but you have so much credibility that they receive some kind of letter that says this is proof that Seth Kniep, or you, Bobby McGee, my good friend, will pay the remaining amount needed. Line item number 8 is currency. Currency of settlement. It's the kind of money you're paying with. Is it CAD? Is it USD? Is it pesos? Is it RMB? Whatever it is. RMB is Chinese yuan. I'm not talking about not that kind of RMB. What are you thinking? I can't believe you thought that. No, I'm talking about RM, as in mouse B. It's like saying a dollar for USD. It's Chinese yuan. Line item number 9 is mode of shipment. Now, there are 3 main kinds of shipments you can do. You can do by air, you can do like plane, there's Air Express are the 2 main ones. You can do by ocean, meaning by a ship, and usually you do that if you have a larger number of items. You're willing to wait 3 to 5 weeks to get it, but the per unit cost goes way down compared to air freight, and especially compared to Air Express. But when you're just testing a product, Air Express is perfect. The third one is surface. Just think about the world and going across the surface of the world, like by railway, by train, or by truck. So this will state which one is the primary mode of shipment. Line item number 10 is quantity. Very simple, how many units am I actually shipping in these boxes? Line item number 11 is a description of those goods. Again, you're gonna see here a product description along with the harmonized code area where you can put it down. Now, this is really important. Sometimes a supplier, a manufacturer, a factory will recommend that they change the name of the goods so it gets through customs more easily. There was a day, like back in 2014, 2015, where that worked great. But today, I don't recommend it because customs are opening a lot of boxes and they're checking them to make sure the description on the commercial invoice matches what is actually in the box. And if it doesn't, they can take your goods, they can auction them off, they can make money off of it to pay for the customs fees, never talk to you again. It's not worth it. So just don't do it. Don't. I'll come to your house. Make sure that description is accurate. In fact, it usually includes not just the quantity, but even the unit of measure. That's why there's a lot of details in here where you can like put the size of the boxes, the gross weight per container, the type of container, stuff like that. Again, you aren't writing this out, but it's good for you to understand it so you can apply it. Free tool. Click below, there's a link. It will show you the most common Incoterms possible for any kind of shipment. This is like understanding tax law, which some lawyers have said is the most complicated thing in the world. It's insane. But what we did is we created an entire tool that shows you all the main terms, what they mean, who's responsible for every stage of the process. Not just the customs, but over the sea, getting to the warehouse, getting it imported, paying the customs duties, getting it all the way to Amazon's fulfillment center or your garage or wherever you like to store your goods. So click that link below, it's a free tool for you. Number 12 is unit of measure. This is the total weight and total gross weight in kilograms per description line. So for every, if you are shipping multiple kinds of goods, each one will have its own weight that is calculated there. Line item number 13. I was gonna try to say 13 with fingers, but I don't have that many fingers, so forget it. Boom, boom. Line item number 13 is unit price. This is the per unit price for the goods being shipped. Line item number 14, this is the total price for all the goods. Now, we talked about this in another video, I just have to reemphasize, do not undervalue or understate, or let the supplier do this, the actual value of the goods. I said, how do I know the value of the goods? Well, if you're buying 10 pineapples and each one is $10, that's $100. They're gonna have them put down $100. And when you look at that commercial invoice, if the supplier puts down a lower amount, brings it under $2,500, so you don't have to pay the tariff, guys, I know it's tempting. You're like, Seth, I'm gonna save money. Yeah, but you're not really gonna save money if customs finds out and you can't ever import again in your life. And you get a bunch of fines and fees added on top of that. You don't wanna hurt trust when it comes to importing, so just make sure you include that. At this point, you're probably asking, what in the world is he talking about pineapples for? There's another video, just go to my channel, you'll see it. I talk about declared value, I break it all down, and if you really want the inside scoop on that, become a member of Just On That. Line item number 15. This one is almost actually more important than the invoice number, which we talked about before. This is the total commercial value. Now just keep in mind, these numbers don't necessarily line up with the boxes. These boxes don't have numbers. I'm just giving it to you in numbers to keep it simple. This one is commercial value or total commercial value. What it means is the value of the goods, how much you are paying for the goods. Make sure you write that item, that total down accurately. And it doesn't include the cost of shipping. It doesn't include the customs fees and the tariff. It's just the cost of the goods. Line item number 16, package marks. I promise you, this is the weirdest of all of them. All marks on the boxes are included in this field. For example, you're gonna have, let's just say you have 12 boxes, so one box will say 1 of 12. Next one, 2 of 12, 3 of 12, 4 of 12. So you need to indicate that on the commercial invoice so they know when they get it, we're looking, guys, for 15 boxes. Okay, I got 7 of 15, put that on the truck. Think about the fact that these physical boxes are gonna be moved by real people and machines to get to you, so make it as easy for them as possible. Well, in this case, make sure your exporter makes it as easy as possible. You're gonna include the shipping company's name, the country of origin. For example, was this made in China? And by the way, if it was manufactured, let's say in another country like Pakistan and they shipped it to China, but China is where your supplier is, country of origin is actually China, not Pakistan. In other words, the place where you're sending money, where you receive it from, that's technically the country of origin, just in case you're wondering about that. The destination port of entry, for example, it could be Long Beach, California. The package weight in kilograms, the package size, which includes the length, the width, the height, all of that, and the shipper's control number. This is an identification number for the shipper, for the freight forwarder, for the exporter who's sending it out. They actually have to have a control number that proves that they're legit. Line item number 17, miscellaneous charges. This may not be relevant, but I just want you to be aware of it. This includes anything that you would be miscellaneously charged for, such as packing fees, extra insurance fees, export transportation, etc. And again, they're paid by you, the buyer. Line item number 18, last but not least, is certifications. Now, certifications include any kind of certification or declaration required by the receiving country, not the exporting, but the importing country. Again, if you have a child's product and there's a high risk that the child could choke on it, you need what's called a Cpc certification. You can get that through SGT. If you really don't know what I'm talking about, but you're a member, then you do know what I'm talking about. This allows you to get the product into the country without customs saying, they don't have certifications. There's a high risk that this electronic product could start on fire, so we can't let it in. It's really important, if that product needs any certification to sell on Amazon, have it taken care of before it comes into the US. It'll make the importation easier. I cannot tell you how many Amazon sellers who didn't know what they were doing did everything right except this one. And as a result, their product was stopped and they had to wait 4, 5, sometimes 6 months before they could ever see their goods. Can you imagine sending a lot of money over for your business and then for 6 months, you don't receive the goods, you can't sell them? You don't want that to happen to you. Don't do it. Before I go, let me give you a few tips so you understand commercial invoices even better. There's a lot of different reasons they're used. The destination country is gonna need it before they can release the goods through customs. If your goods are damaged or lost in transit, it actually serves as a supporting document for your insurance claim. Again, that's something we teach to members. JustOneTime.com, fire your boss. A bank may need to see it before reimbursing funds under a letter of credit or documentary claim. For example, if you have the credit but you don't have the freed up cash because you've invested it, let's say in real estate, well, that letter of credit proves that you're gonna pay and the supplier loves that, but it has to be they need this. They need it on here in order to validate what you're doing. Otherwise, customs will not accept it. Exporters can use this to support foreign credit risk insurance claims. I'm not gonna go into that right now, but I just want you to be aware of these things. Commercial invoices, guys, are so important that US export regulations require exporters, check this out, retain it for 5 years from the date of shipment. So the exporter, the supplier in China, has to keep it for 5 years. If they don't, they could have a problem exporting anything into the US in the future. A commercial invoice is not the same as a pro forma invoice, also known as a PI. When you first talk to the supplier and you say, hey, give me these lint rollers, how much do they cost? How many can I get? What is the min order quantity? They're gonna send you a little quote, an approximate, how much it will cost you, maybe even the shipping cost. When you receive that from the supplier, that's a pro forma invoice. Very different from the commercial invoice. This is what you need when you're shipping it before you make that final payment.